Begin the current Daf Mesech Kidushin Daf Lamed Hey. We begin 14 lines down at the top of the Amud, where the Gemara really is concluding a conversation we had on the previous Daf. We had asked a question. We actually asked two questions. We wanted to know. We said we were trying to learn out the source for mitzvah shezman garam, the women are potter, and mitzvah shalei hazman garam, the women are obligated. So the Gemara said, that the reason why you cannot learn out that they're going to be chayiv on mitzvah shezman garam from matzah and hakil is because there's two psukim teach the same idea. So the Gemara says, wait a second, that's good according to one that holds Ein Malamdin. What are you going to do according to one that holds that you could learn that from two psukim saying the same thing? The Gemara didn't answer the question. The Gemara says, and I have another question. I want to know, you have mitzvah shezman garam, the women are going to be obligated. Oh, where do you know that from? So the Gemara ended up saying, you know it from Moira and you know it from Per Berivia. Oh, well, it depends which mandam you learn that from. But the Gemara says it's you cannot learn that from Talmud Peribia. Well, the Gemara is going to say right now, well, that's only good according to one that holds that you cannot learn out. According to one you could learn out. So we're doubling down on both questions on Azay Shezman Grama and Loyas, and when it's Loyasman Grama, we have difficulties according to both of those categories that we had because we wanted to know we could learn that from the other way. And the Gemara says the other way, no, that's two psukim saying the same thing. But if you learn that you could, then you could learn the other way. You could say Zman Grama shall be chayiv, and you could say Loyasman Grama shall actually be potter, because there are others to learn from. We only answered the Gemara up until this point if you hold Shnei Shemam Gecha Ein Malamdin. There's a man that holds you could be Malamdin when the two psukim saying the same thing. According to that mandama, both categories are still difficult. How do you know that you can be exempt from as Zman Grama and chayiv in Loyasman Grama? Some discussing today's daf are, like we said, the sources for mitzvah shezman grama that nashim paturas, and mitzvah shaloisman grama. If it's not time bound, then nashim achayev said they can be obligated. Question is whether tefillin is a mitzvah shezman grama or not. Mitzvah loisa say any negative prohibition that doesn't make a difference, time bound or not time bound. Both men and women are going to be obligated. So then one of this is the idea of One of this idea of hishva kasav ish leish l'chol onshim shabbatayim. That the pasuk equates for punishments, both men and women for all punishments, and also hishva kasav ish leish l'chol din shabbatayra, and hishva kasav ish leish l'chol misa shabbatayra. The pasuk goes through, and the Gemara explains why we have to say that men and women are the same for all these types of similar types of categories. Then the Gemara brings the source that women are exempt from Baal Tazem Mason, if she's a kahana, she's allowed to dead people, Baal Takiv, about cutting off the payas, and Baal Tashchis, which someone told me a cute story. I was in the Swarm store the other day, and he thought that the Rebbe said Baal Tashchis means that women don't have the problem Baal Tashchis, that whatever, it ended up being a whole story that he said it's not the right shot, whatever, but the kid came home and said that mommy should let Tati, mommy should throw it in the garbage, Tati shouldn't, because Baal Tashchis is only for, but no, it doesn't mean Baal Tashchis of the pay, it's Baal Tashchis of the Zokin, of the beard, that women are exempt from that. So we begin the current Daf, fourth line is now at the top of the Amud, Daf Lamed Hey, where the Gemara concludes the conversation from the previous Daf. We had asked, we said, wait a second, what are you telling me that women are obligated? When it's loy hazman gedama, because we learn that from Moira Avaim. So he said, wait a second, learn it from Talmud Torah. Talmud Torah is also loy hazman gedama, women are going to be potter. The Gemara answered, no, because Talmud Torah and Penya Ben are shnei ksum avam ke'echad. They're both loy hazman gedama and women are potter. So you have two psukim to teach them. I think you cannot learn that from that. So that was a second question we had asked on this manda amma. Because that's only, says the Gemara, that's good according to one that holds when you have two psukim saying the same idea that malam you cannot learn out, but according to one that holds malam you can learn out. What are you going to say? You should learn out from Talmud Torah and Penya Ben that by other mitzvahs women are going to be potter. And we also have the question from the previous stuff regarding the other way, regarding mitzvah say it's mangarama, that how do you know that women are going to be potter? You should say that she's michayiv because you could learn out from two sources, from Matzah and Hakel, that she's going to be chayiv. The fact that it says two times, that doesn't bother me. You can still learn out. So Rabbi says, Papanoi, meaning the students in Papano, they know the reason for this halacha. Umana, who's this? It's Rabacha Bar Yaakov, who he lived in Papano, as the Gemara says about Vasdav Tazayin Manal, which is what's the pshat? Because Amakra, the pasuk says in Shemais, it should be a sign for you between your hands. It should be a memory between your eyes. Hashem should be in your mouth. So huksha kala teira kula, it's saying tia toiras Hashem. The whole Torah is being compared in this parasha litzvilin, which is talking about tefillin. So we're not going to leave, says Rashi, a hekesh, which is much stronger, and to learn out a binyan av from a mamatzinu, from saying, oh, matzah and hakel, that are zman grom, you're going to be chayiv, and neither the other question we had asked, tamatera pinya ben, that they should be exempt by lo zman gerama, which are the two questions we have in the previous daf, according to Manda Amma, that holds you could learn out from shnei suma bam keachad. We have a hekesh. A hekesh is stronger than a mamatzinu. Ma tefillin, just like by tefillin mitzvah says zman gerama. It's a time and pas commandment. But nashim turas, women are exempt, as already established in the previous daf, because it's compared to Talmud Torah. So to every positive commandment is going to have the same thing, that nashim b'turas, women are going to be exempt. Now, the mitzvah say shazman gerama nashim b'turas, from the fact that I know that when there's a positive commandment, women are exempt. So the way Rashi explains, the place discusses this, but from the fact that we needed the hekesh to say they're exempt from Zman Gerama, machlal, the inference is, the mitzvah says shaloy Zman Gerama, that if it's not time bound regarding other mitzvahs, nashim chayavas. I don't need a source. The inference is, if I'm telling you that they're patur when there's Zman Gerama, obviously when there's Zman Gerama, they're going to be chayav. Says the Gemara, this is well, according to one who holds tefillin, is mitzvah says Zman Gerama, is a time bound commandment, which is a machlik mesechus Shabbos Daf Samachal Manav, and in the last parak in the Even Daf Taligim Beis Elaman the Mitzvah Mitzvah Says Shalais Magam. According to one, the whole tefillin is not a time bound positive commandment because it's at old times tefillin. Tefillin is at nighttime. Tefillin is on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Ma Yikilamema. What are you going to say? If that's the case, you should learn the opposite. You should say that when it's Lo Hazman Gerama, which is what tefillin is, it's at old times. Women are exempt. Which that would make that women are exempt in all mitzvahs that are loizman grandma, like tefillin. Says the Gemara, wait a second. Man shamatle, who is the one that you heard the Amat tefillin mitzvah say loizman grandma that's not time bound, that it's at old times? That is Remeir. That is Remeir, which in the Erevin, according to him, you don't need a hekesh. Rather, it's like we learned that previously. We learned that from a binyan av, because he learns that from Re'iyah, from that you when you come to the base of Mikdash, which is mitzvah says Magrama, the woman can be potter. We had previously asked this is wait a second, why should I learn from Re'iyah, which is Zman Grama that she's potter, learn it from Matzah and Hakel that you can be chayiv? No, because the Savalar and Meir holds. Remember, our whole conversation right now is only on the Manda Amar Shnei Zog Shrek Sima Bam Ge'achad Malamdin. Remeir holds Shnei Sima Bam Ge'achad that these two psukim are teaching the same idea, and B'chol Shnei Sima Bam Ge'achad Ein Malamdin he holds that you cannot learn out. So therefore, there's no question to say I shall learn out from there to say you can be chayiv, because you cannot learn out from Matzah and Hakel to say you can be chayiv, because we know from Re'iyah that she's going to be potter. But that says Gemara, wait a second, Rabbi Yehuda, then he holds, as the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, Daf Samachzayin Beis, and then also in Avon Daf Tzadik Vav Beis, that you could learn out from two psukim teaching the same idea. And what he says in Avon is that tefillin mitzvah say shelo izman gerama, he holds those tefillin is not time bound. Mike, remember what are you going to say? Where do you say that a woman is exempt from a mitzvah zman gerama if he's this mandam we were discussing here on this stuff, not from the previous stuff? Because that whole conversation was only behold is a malamdin. So you cannot learn that from the other sources. According to one that holds that you can learn from the same idea, the whole previous stuff falls apart. You have to learn that from this hekesh from tefillin. If you learn from the hekesh from tefillin, but Rabbi Yehuda himself holds it's a mitzvah shelo zman gerama. Hekesh, we don't have a hekesh. Hekesh is it's in the same pasuk. In this pasuk, we put Toiras Hashem together with Lo Isal Yadecha. So the whole Torah is being compared to in one pasuk what's called a hekesh, not a mamatzinu. Mamatzinu we discussed in the previous daf. Oh, just like over there, so over here. Mamatzinu is just like a svara. The hekesh is mamish. The Torah is putting them in the same pasuk to teach you something. Yeah, but that's weaker than the hekesh. According to that we have according to Yehuda that says that we have this hekesh comparing all of Torah to tefillin, and tefillin is mitzvah say shelo zman gerama, and he also cannot learn out from the sources from the previous daf because he holds that shnei kisam bam ge'achad you are malamdin. So if that's the case, so you can learn out from matzah and hakel. You fall off from everything we said in the previous daf. The whole drushas we said in the previous daf was because shtaitu and as I learned, but I can tell you the other way also malan. No, there we can't learn out from because that's two psukim saying the same idea. Realize you could learn out from two psukim saying the same idea, so you're stuck. That's not good sources anymore. So the only source you would have is this hekesh. Because because why learn out from Re'iyah that she's going to be potter? Learn out from Mas and Hakel should be chayiv. So we answered the previous up. No, that two psukim take the same idea. He holds malamdin from two psukim take the same idea. So what are you going to say? According to him, women should be. How do you see women is exempt from mitzvah sheis b'gerama? Says the Gemara. I'll tell you why. Mishum dehave matzah, simcha, v'hakel. You have three mitzvahs, which, as Rashi points out, obviously he doesn't hold like Abaya, who said that Simchas Yom Tov is not a woman's mitzvah, it's the husband's mitzvah to be misamecha. Obviously, the Gemara is not going with that. You have shloishik sumabam ke'echad. Three psukim teach the same idea that women are going to be chayiv in the mitzvah sasei shezman garama. Now, even according to the Mandam holds that two psukim teach the same idea you could learn out from, but b'shloishik sumabam ke'echad ein malam. Then when three psukim teach the same idea, that everyone agrees you cannot learn out from, and therefore I'm not going to be able to learn out from there. And therefore, I'm only going to learn out from the source that tells us that she's pater, because you cannot learn out from the other side of the ones that she's going to be chayiv. Which Taisa says, okay, you answered how you know the mitzvah sheishman grandma women are pater because you cannot learn out from Matz and Hakel because they're simcha together with them. It's like we explained. But says Taisa, a mitzvah sheishman lo yizman grandma, where do we know women are obligated? Maybe say that they're pater because you learn it from Talmud Term Penya Ben. Because according to this mandam Rabbi Yehuda, you could learn out from two psukim teaching the same idea. So you should say that they're pater on lo yazman grama also. So that says Taisis, no, because he doesn't hold like Rabbi Yechanan Bebereka that holds that women are chayiv, and therefore it would be three psukim teaching the same idea. You have Talmud Torah, Penya Ben, and Perverivya that women are exempt from, and therefore you have three psukim teaching the same idea, which you cannot learn from that either. So the same type of answer the Gemara is giving for mitzvah shezman grama, you could give the same thing for mitzvah shelo yizman grama, and therefore we're obviously not learning out from tefillin because tefillin women are exempt. We're not using the hekesh because tefillin women are exempt, and Rabbi Yehuda holds is lo yizman grama. We learn out from the previous daf, and you could learn from big suvim. It's not big suvim; it's actually going to be three kesuvim. Now the Gemara continues with the next halacha that we said. We said that v'chol mitzvahs loisaseh v'chulu, any negative prohibition v'chul etc. However, there women and men are both going to be obligated. So where do we know this from? That women are obligated in every mitzvah loisaseh. Amar v'yudam v'chein ton Rabbi Shmuel Amar Kar says a pasuk in Midbar says isha man or woman ki yasim kol chatzad nev'genu for any sins of man. So you see hishar kasav isha leish l'chol onshim shabater. We see the pasuk is comparing a man to a woman for any punishment in the Torah, which a negative prohibition is the punishment that you get malchus for and you get the chatas for. So therefore you see that women are obligated in loisa says like men. Says Gemara the Meirav Lazatana in the Brisa, in the Yeshiva of Lazat, they taught a Brisa, which as Rashi points out, it's not coming to explain the Mishnah. It's just once we brought a source for punishments, which is for the negative prohibition, parenthetically we're also bringing that where do we know they're included for monetary law, and also regarding death, that we're going to execute someone who kills them, which are similar things, but it's not the same idea we're talking about. Omakra, the pasuk says in Shmais, says that these are the Ela Mishpatim, Ashutasim Lifneihem, that you should put in front of them. What does it mean, Lifneihem? Oh, it's men and women. With the pasuk is comparing men and women for all monetary law in the Torah. A third idea, in the Yeshiva of Chizkiah Torah Brayis, Omakra, the pasuk says in Shmais, says V'imshoy Nagachu, that if this is a goring ox that's been like this for already a few times, and he kills a man or a woman, so okay, the ox gets stoned, and also the gamba all of yumas. So you see, we see that we're comparing a woman to a man for every death in the Torah, meaning that whoever kills the women are going to be obligated for death penalty, or the ox kaifer if it kills a woman just like a man. So we have to have this comparison of women to men for all these three categories. Why? Because the Iash Minan Hach Kamai said we only said the first teaching, which talked about carbon, which is actually in the context of if you swear falsely regarding a deposit, or about stealing from a ger and Parshas Nasai. So I would say Mishum Kapara. Yeah, the reason why women are included because it's for atonement on their sins. So Chashachman Allah, the Torah was compassionate on the woman to allow her to have a kapara. So maybe over there that's where it would be applicable. Avaldinin, Ema, but regarding monetary law, I would say ish, only a man, the bar matan. He's a guy who does business in, yes, isha, a woman, there's a new thing on the entrepreneur, that the lie, this is that they're not from basamatan, so therefore they would not be included in halacha. So if we have to say they're also the women, no, they are. They can be the entrepreneurs too. They also have the same monetary law like men. If you're going to say this one, you'd say, of course. What do you mean? If she's not included in monetary law, she has no life. Everyone's going to steal from her. She's going to steal from others, and everyone's going to stay away from her because she's a pariah. I mean, it's a life. A woman has to support herself too. But regarding if, let's say, an ox kills a man or a woman, which is what the idea of atonement money of the Shremut is talking about, where it kills a person, that aim I would say is a Ketinamet Bay, actually maybe ish. Maybe that only applies to a man. Why? Because devar mitzvahs in. Only a man who, the owner of the show will pay kafir for the ocean because a man is someone who has all these mitzvahs to do, and now you can't do these mitzvahs. So you have to pay like a kafir, like a atonement money. But Yishalai, a woman who doesn't have so many mitzvahs, I would say maybe that actually you would not have the halach of kafir. So you have to say there also. And Mishmin, had we said this case of kafir, Shabdika ibn Neshama, because it's a loss of a life. So the Torah obligates a man to go ahead, someone, the owner of the ox, to pay kafir when the woman is killed. Because Chas Rachman Allah, the Torah is concerned for her life too. I would say that no, it's really, we have to say all three cases to say that women are like men in all these three different halachic categories. Now, the Mishnah had said that, okay, all Loisa says women are obligated, but there are three exceptions. Except for the cutting off the payas, cutting off the shaving off the beard, etc., and of the becoming tummy to dead people. So the Gemara wonders, Shloime about the time of the base. I understand the issue of not coming tummy to dead people. It says a possible yikra. It says, Emra l'kehanim b'nei Aaron, say to the kehanim, the sons of Aaron, that which it says over there in the whole parasha of becoming tummy. It says over there l'nefesh l'tam ba'amav. B'nei Aaron, b'nei Aaron. That's for the sons of Aaron, not for the daughters of Aaron. About talking about Tashim. No, but where do you know regarding that the issue of cutting off payas or of cutting off the beard does not apply to women? Says the Gemara, it says in the pasuk in the Yikra, it says Leisekifa pa'as reishchem. Don't round off the corners of your heads, which, as Rashi explains, the mitzvah of payas is that if someone evens out his temples to what's behind his ears, to his forehead, where the back of the ears are smooth, you don't need hair over there, up until the height, and the temples you have on the sides where there's hair, someone cuts off the hairs from the sides, now it goes straight from, like a mushroom, it goes straight from the forehead to behind the ear, rounding off, which is where there's no hair there. So it says, don't round off the corners of your heads, and don't destroy the corners of your beards. So the pasuk is making a hekesh. Whoever is included in the category of destroying the beard, is included in the isser of rounding out the head. These women, since they're not in the category of destroying, they're not in the isser of cutting off the payas. How do you know the women don't have a problem about shaving off their beard? Says the Gemara, if you want, you could say it's logic, because the whole isla women don't have beards, and therefore obviously don't have the isser. If you want, you could say it's based on the pasuk. The Amakar pasuk says, don't round off the corners of your heads. Don't destroy the corners of your beards. So the fact that the pasuk changed the terminology, because if that would be the case, that women would be obligated. It should have said in the plural like roishchem. It should have said the corners of your beards. My zikanecha in the singular your beard. Zikanecha your beard, but not your wife's beard. Meaning, even if she does too much electrolysis, whatever this, she has like this beard growing out, and she's mashchas, and she takes a razor, that's not going to be an isser. That's a second source to say, so she's potter from that, so she's potter then from the isser pays. Says Gemara, really? She's not mitzvah in the isser of shaving off her beard? But Tanya, in the Bryce, it says, Zikan Isha, the beard of a woman, or Vasaris, a eunuch, who usually they don't grow hair like a man, but even though it's a male, but if they develop here, so their beard is like a beard for all halachas. My love, isn't it telling us that this sagis and this woman, their beard is like a man's beard? Lashchasa, that is a prohibition, like any man to shave off the beard. So too the woman. Mabai says no. Lashchasa limits his. You cannot say his Toma regarding the isra of shaving with a razor off the beard, because the yellow pas from the achen. We learn out by Gzeres Shava. it says by a Yisrael pa'asik anecha, the corners of your beards. It says by kahanim pa'asik anam legalecha, the corners of the beard, they should not shave off. Now, as Rashi explained, the Gemara assumes, because when it said Emar kahanim b'nei Aaron and not b'nois Aaron, that's going the whole thing written in that whole parsha, which therefore malhan, just like over there by the kahanim, nashim apaturis, because it says b'nei Aaron and not b'nois Aaron. Avkan, also over here by a regular Yisrael, nashim apaturis, women are going to be exempt from the issur of cutting off the corners of the beards. Says the Gemara, but if that's the case, if we hold like Abaya, the chikasa b'nei Aaron, when the pasuk says b'nei Aaron, that's akul inyanik siv, it's going on everything that was mentioned. So nishta kraminei. So why the pasuk doesn't need the gzeir shava pas pa'as to exclude the non-kahanas women, the nashim Yisraelis, because v'teisi you can learn out that they're going to be exempt from the woman's beard, but kal v'chaymer. I don't need gzeir shava pas. I would know from a kavachaymer, from a kahanas. But I would say like this: if from a kahan shudi ben hakas mitzvah says the pasuk, there's more mitzvahs that apply to kahan than by regular Yisrael, and still b'nei Aaron, still the daughters of Aaron, kahan that they have more mitzvahs are exempt. Says again by regular Yisrael, of course the women will be exempt. What do you need gzeir shava? Have a kavachaymer. Says no. You love gzeir shava. I didn't have the gzeir shava. I would have thought to say hifsika inyan. That I would say there's interruptions. That Bnei Aaron is only going on the thing that's right there in that pasuk of Tumah, but Tumah, which gets in the way, it says Lo Yitama. So I would have thought to say that actually that regarding the other halachas, like let's say the pasuk and Echa, that actually for that women would be obligated. If I needed the Gzeir Shava to say that no, that women are going to be exempt, that's what I need the Gzeir Shava for. But the Gemara says, wait a second, Hashtanami. Then now even when you have the Gzeir Shava, name a Hifsik Inyan. I should say that, but it's interrupted with the laws of Tumah before it says about destroying the beard. So maybe the meat of Bnei Aaron does not apply to Hashchas Sakan. And you can say, wait a second, why is the pasuk comparing Yisraelis to Kahanas for the beards? Because it's pas. If women are obligated there, so what's it teaching me? Women are obligated here. If it's not for the Ptur, says that's not a difficulty. I can tell you that I can tell you need it for a different halacha, as you learned in the following brisa, to tell me what's here applies over here, what's here applies over here. To tell me that you're not going to be obligated when you shave off a beard only by two qualities that are in either one of these two parishes. Has to be destroying it through a shaving. And since you could say the Gzeir Shava is referring to that, so who said you should darshan it to exclude banais, to say that the same thing applies to the Israelis? Because what do I mean? It's mafsik the Indian. Something gets in the way. Maybe meat b'nai is not going on hashchas zaken. Because I could teach you it's for the following halacha. Pasuk says in Yikra, where it's talking by kahanim, it says that the corners of the beards, lo yigalecha, they shouldn't shave off. Now, Yachal, if all you had was that pasuk, you would have thought to say, gilcha b'misparayim yichayv. If someone shaves off his beard with scissors, it'd be chayv because it's yigalecha. He's cutting here. It says by the pasuk by Yisrael, it says previously is lo yisashches, don't destroy. It has to be something that's hashchasa, that's destruction, like with like a razor. Now, Yochel, you would think, okay, if all I had the pasuk was by Yisrael, I would think lokte b'malkit. If let's say someone used like last it says a plane, which is like these are things that smooth out the container of the sword, or with hitni, which is also a plane that they make for the shields, but it's like things that are sharp, like they smooth things out. You would think, let's say you shave off your beard with one of those tools, yichayv, you would be chayiv. The Malay says no. In the other pasuk by the kahanim, like galechu, meaning it has to be something that you usually cut here with a razor, a scissor, but it's not normal to use one of these tools for shaving. So the Gzeir Shava is telling me whatever it says by kahanim is by Yisrael, and whatever it says by kahanim, how do you have it? You have to have both. You have to have a giluach, which it says by kahanim, it has to be a shaving, so it can't be like a plane. It has to be some type of that's an instrument that's used by carpenters or whatever. It has to be a type of tool like a razor. Sheesh b'achas, which not only a scissor, but also has a destructive element. That's a razor. So that's what the Gzeir Shava is teaching me. So how do I know that the Gzeir Shava of pas pa'as is teaching me that women can be exempt because it says by kahanas b'nei Aaron, and so too by Yisraelis, but it doesn't say that it's hifsik Indian. And that's when you told me that you need the Gzeir Shava, because with the Kabbalah I would have known that. So even with the Gzeir Shava, who said that's teaching me that? I would say that women are obligated. Says Gemara, Imkin, if that would be the case, that the Gzeir Shava is only coming to teach me this idea that it has to have giluach shesh b'ashchasa, nichtav kra, the pasuk should have written es shebezikenecha. That would have been also as if it was written the word peya, because it said already peya previously in that pasuk by the head. And for the fact that it says by the beard, Eshe B'Kenecha, and it doesn't say Ez Zikanecha, I would have known what's Es Shebe Zikanecha. It's going back on the word pay that I mentioned before. And it's saying, Lois, don't destroy Pa'asa B'Kenecha. It would be like as if it's saying, don't destroy the corners of the beard. And then I would know that Giluach of Ashchasa from Pas Yisrael from Kahanim. Or through a Bininav, to say that you can be chayiv from the corners of the beards by Kahanim by Giluach. So too, you can be chayiv in the Pa'as Zakan by Yisrael. But my Pa'as Zikanecha, why do you have to say the word Pa'as? It's really unnecessary. Just say Shebe Zikanecha. And I would know it's going back to the word Pa'as mentioned before. Oh, the extra word Pa'as, Shema Menotarti, is teaching both. It's teaching me of complete Gzeir Shavah to teach you everything that it says over there, it says over here, to teach me more than just Giluach Shishba Ashchasa. To say that, that just like over here it's B'nei Aaron, B'nei Saran, so too over there. And then says the Gemara, so then what do you do with the Bryce we mentioned before? The other time says the Bryce is Zikana Isha, the beard of a woman, Vasachas, or from the eunuch Shelisar, that they have here by their beard. I didn't because they're going to hold the B'nei has halacha like a beard for all halachas. My what's going to say? We had asked, we said, sounds like that you're not allowed to cut it off. Said, no, it can't be, as we just answered. Okay, then what does it mean that's a beard for all halacha? That says Gemara Mazutra, that's L'tumas Negoyim. Because there's a halacha that there are signs that are different when there's here, what's a nega, from when there's just skin. By negoyim on skin of the flesh, it says sar lavin, that white here is a siman of tama. Now, whereas by the nesek of the head or the beard, there the sign of tuma is actually golden here. So the Gemara is saying over here that if a woman develops here on her chin, the simanim of her nega are going to be like the nesek of the zaken of the beard of the hair, and not like that of skin. Says Gemara, Thomas Negayim, I don't need to have this halacha to tell me this brisa from here. That's behedik siva. That's a pasuk that the beard of a woman, because it says in Vayikra, it says v'ish isha, man or woman, ki yeh by nega b'reish b'zaken. If they're going to have a nega on the head or the beard, it already says a woman over there regarding zaken. I don't need a brisa to teach me this. Says the Gemara, Elam Azutri, right? The brisa was teaching me regarding letaras Negayim. When she's going to become purified, she's going to require the halacha of a taharas of mitzayra, of cutting off the hair and bringing the birds. What? Because it was on her beard? Taharas Negam Nami Pshita. Obviously, that's the same thing. Even the Bas Tumahi, since you're saying that the pasuk already says that she has tuma on her beard, Bas Taharahi, of course she would be purified. Why do I need the Bryce to tell me that, like, as Zakal Chadavrayim? You're right. It's back to what we said before. It was necessary to say it for the tuma of Negoim, like we said before, to compare the simanim of the nega of the beard of a woman to the simanim of a beard of a man. You said it's explicit pasuk. Not true. So you would have thought to say let's stadim ksiv. It's for different parts that are mentioned for different things in the pasuk. When it says isha, man or woman, ki by nega b'rosh, there's going to be a nega on their head. That applies to a woman that's mentioned in the pasuk. That's for the nesakim b'rosh. Then when it says in the pasuk oy bezakin, which it says, or on the beard that it says at the end, hadra asoin leish. That's going back only on the leish and not leisha. The leish is only going on the nega b'rosh. Kamashmalan is the time the Bible is teaching you that no, that the pasuk is also going on her beard, that her beard is considered for halacha like a full-fledged beard for the halacha of negoim. But al kapanim, we still remain with this idea that women are exempt from the isra of bal takif and bal tashchis. Bal tashchis is the one we learn out from B'nei Aaron, B'nei Saran, and then bal takif is compared in the same pasuk to bal tashchis. That's how we know women are exempt from those two negative prohibitions. Now, so those are the three mentioned in the Mishnah that are excluding women. Isitan, he learns a fourth thing. He says, Af bal yikrchu. Also, the negative prohibition of not to make yourself bald spot on your head in mourning of a dead person. Nasha B'tur is women are exempt from that too. Says my time of these. What's the reason of Isi? The Darshachi expands the pasuk in the bottom. You are sons to Hashem, your God. So it says, don't make any gashings. Don't make any bald spots between your eyes for the dead person. Because you're holy people to Hashem, your God. It says sons and not daughters, which is lekarcha for making of the bald spot. But as Rashi says, for the gashes, that even daughters would be included. Says the Brisa, really? Atam lekarcha, do you say for bald spots? Maybe it's even for the gashes. No, when it says in the next pasuk after that, it says ki am kadosh ata Hashem akecha, because you're holy people to Hashem, your God, which also women are included in the am kadosh. Hadigedid amar. we already know that making the gash, women are included. So Aman Mekayim Banim Lebanim. So what do I do with Banim that it's only for sons and not daughters? That's the karcha, that's for the bald spot. So the Gemara, how do you know to include from the the women are obligated in the gashes, to take out from Banim Lebanim the bald spot? Says the Gemara, I'll tell you why. I'm going to include women for the gashes, which is this custom that the Emori would do on those of the ones who would die. Because gashes are whether there's here, there, or no, there's no here, there. But I'm going to exclude the bald spot, which that's a more limited thing. It's only with this here. So but that's going to be the one I'm going to exclude women from, but not from the Gedida. Says Gemara, but Ve'ema, I could tell you, I could tell you when this is Bon Matam B'Shem sons, not daughters, I could say that's excluding Ben L'Karcha, Ben L'Gedida. For both of them mentioned in the Pasuk, for the bald spot and for the gashes. I could tell you, when it says, "You're holy people to Hashem, your God," which is including women, I could say that you know what they're included for in the Isser is B'Shrita Hudichsiv. It's regarding Shrita. Now, the Gemara assumes at this point that Shrita, making a line, and Gedida, making gashes, are two different things. One's by hand, scratching, and one's with a tool, with making a gash. Now, Rashi points out, even though in this pasuk it doesn't mention anything about Shrita, about scratching, but since it's similar to Gedida, which is written over here, so you don't say that also women are patur from that, because you'll say, oh, Shrita is similar to Gedida. No, it says Kiam Kodesh, which is coming to include. And this would be the most ideal, because we wouldn't be inverting the pasuk, because Banim B'lei Banos is actually written by Gedida, and from that is what we're talking about. So maybe you'll exclude women from Banim, both not only from Karcha, but also from Gedida, and I'll tell you what they are included from Am Kodesh is Shrita. Says the Gemara, no, you can't say like Ksava Isi holds Shrita Gedida, scratching and this gashing is getting top of Lamed Bamanav. Achasi is the same thing. It doesn't make a difference, do it by hand or you do it with a tool, and therefore, obviously, if you're coming to include something that women are going to be prohibited in, obviously must be, we're going to include the Gedida, and we're going to only exclude the Karcha, because Karcha is only by the here, and that will exclude them from, but the Isser of Gedida and Shrita, women are included in that Isser of doing. Thank you to any time for hosting us.